Chief Keen says, speaking about salary, how do you recover from giving a low salary range in the early stage and want to get more at negotiation stage? That's a tough one. In a perfect world, you would have not done this, right? That's why there are ways of handling the salary question. And they're all centered around not giving a number, right? Because the reason why they ask about the salary question before you get to the offer stage is not to try and have a legitimate discussion about what salary would satisfy you. That's not why they're asking it. They're asking it purely to attempt to eliminate you, right? We even see that question asked on a website before you even are allowed to submit your application. They make you answer these questions, right? And any question they ask you there, like this, is purely to eliminate you. So if you answer unfavorably to any of the questions that they ask you in the application stage on a website or something, usually that means that your application doesn't even get to the recruiter. It's eliminated before you even start, right? It's not even considered from that point onward. That's why they ask those. So same thing in an interview. If they ask you the salary question at any point before the offer, it's not to come to some arrangement with you, it's to eliminate you. So what you want to do there is you want to give them an answer, but you don't want the answer to eliminate you. And you also don't want the answer to pin you to a low number. So that's why if you do give them anything there, you give a wide range, a low number to a high number, where the low number and the high number they're reasonable, but just like they're pushing the limits of what would be reasonable for that role, right? So, and then you say like, okay, well, listen, like, look, all I can say right now is somewhere between this number and this number, somewhere in there would be fine. Somewhere in there, that sounds good. You know what I mean? That's the most you could ever possibly give them. And the reason why you would say that answer is okay is because it doesn't eliminate you because you asked for too much money, because your range started low, right? So you never committed to like, I need a high number. You said somewhere in this range and it goes down low, right? That would be fine. So you don't get eliminated, but yet it allows you to ask for a higher number later on in the offer stage if you get that far. You never committed to the low number. You said somewhere in this range, and the range goes pretty high. You know what I'm saying? You're not going back on anything you said by asking for somewhere along the higher end of the range later on. So that's why it's a strategic answer, right? You don't get eliminated and you keep the options open for the offer stage if you get that far. James says, hi, what to write in a mandatory question in a job application where they ask for my salary expectations? The format is I can only put a number. Okay, so here's what you do. Usually at this point, there's a lot of things you don't know about the job, a lot of major things you don't know about the job. Now, for a lot of jobs, they pay a salary, but like they'll give you cash, but they'll also give you benefits. There's other things there too. There might even be perks. You can, if you're a manager, you could decide where you hold your annual meeting for your division. And maybe you have a branch office in Honolulu in Hawaii, and you decide every year, hey, let's put the meeting in Hawaii, right? It's your prerogative. You can do it, but it's a perk. So you all but enjoy a free vacation to Hawaii whenever you have this annual meeting, right? So that's a perk. So there's a lot of things about the job you don't know. They might not even have told you about the benefit package. So it's pretty hard to say accurately what salary you want if you don't know what benefits you're getting. You know what I'm saying? You don't know anything about the job. You don't know how many vacation days you're getting. You don't know how many sick days. You don't know if it's mandatory overtime. You don't know if they require you to work statutory holidays, blah, 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 blah. There's a lot of things. So you can't say. So here's what you do. Imagine that all those unknowns, all those things that you don't know about the job, imagine they're all best case scenario. Okay? Now put in the number, put in the minimum amount of money you'd ever work for that company. They give you fantastic benefits. Every year, there's 2 meetings a year in Hawaii or the Caribbean or your favorite vacation spot in the world. They give you 25 sick days a year plus 10 personal days, on top of 4 weeks vacation. You don't know. They haven't told you. So assume it's best case scenario. Now, how much money would it take for you to work there? It'd probably be a very low amount of money, wouldn't it? Right? Fill that in. because that's honestly what your opinion is right now. Now, if later on they choose to reveal some of these missing pieces of information and it turns out to be less than what you envisioned it, well, then you can always revise your salary expectations upwards because they didn't disclose that at the time they prompted you for an answer. You know what I'm saying? As you said, it's mandatory. Okay, you're making it mandatory. I'll give you an honest answer right now when you haven't really told me anything about this job. That's what it's going to take. Oh, I'm also envisioning that I'm going to work side by side with who's the most beautiful person in the world? Whoever that is, fill in that name right there. Okay, that's what I figured I'd be doing. Right? It's a reasonable expectation. You guys are in the fashion industry, right? I just assumed I'd be working with them. I know you guys, your company does it. Oh, I'm not? Oh, okay. Well, then I might need a bit more money. You know, I know that's a bit cheap and stupid, but you get the idea, right? That's how this works. They want to play games, you play right along. That way they can't eliminate you on asking for too much money, but quite honestly, you have a perfectly legitimate excuse for revising your expectations later on if it comes to that.